All right, so we are applying all of the skills that we've learned. So we're going to look at this problem here. It says Carolina and her friends are training separately for a kayaking competition. The average distance and time traveled by each is shown in the table. The distance kayaked in the competition is 3 miles. Predict who will win based on the rate shown. Predict how long it will take the winner to complete the race if their rate remains constant, meaning they go the same speed. So here's our data. We're going to go on down in. I'm going to use different methods. I might use the same method twice. I might change things up. It just is what it is. So for Carolina, we're going to use a double number line. So first, if we know she goes 7/8 of a mile, I can tell you right now, that ain't going to be 3 easily. So we need to figure out how many eighths 3 miles would be. So how would we do that? If I have 3/1 and I want to turn that into eighths, I'm going to do the same to the top and the bottom, right? So I'm multiplying it by 8. So 3 times 8 is 24, and 8 times 1 is 8. So we know that we need to get past 24 eighths for her to get to be done, to get to that end point. So let's see. So we had 7/8, 14/8. If we add 7 more, we get 21 eighths, and we add 7 more, we get 28 eighths. Okay, cool. We got that. So this is a half hour. This is another half hour. It's 1. This is 1.5. And this is 2 hours. So it would take her 2 hours to go to 28 eighths. So she can be somewhere in between. She can be about here. We know that she needs to get to 24 eighths of a mile. So I'm going to say that's probably 1 3/4 of an hour. It's not quite half, but I don't need to be exact. But I didn't really have to do a whole lot of math here. I didn't have to figure out her unit rate. I just had to make my table here. So Carolina, we say, will be about 1 3/4 of an hour to complete the race. I'm going to change my pen color so that I can find this easily, right? 1 3/4 of an hour. All right. So Leslie, let's look at the double bar graph for Leslie. All right, so her rate is 1 mile to every third of an hour. Well, we know the race is 3 miles, so 1, 2, 3. That's my whole picture here. So we have 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3 plus another third is 3/3, or it should take Leslie 1 hour to complete the race. I can see that in a bar graph. I can use a ratio table. So Brian, we know his distance is 3/4, and we know that his miles, his distance, ooh, I have distance and miles there. How about distance and time? So we know that his distance that he goes in 3/4 of an hour is 3/4 of a mile. Well, I got to figure out what 1/4 is. So to go this way, I have to divide the top by, I have to get down to 1/4. So I'm going to divide by 3. And then I'm going to divide by 3. So 3/4 divided by 3, because I need to break it into 3 groups, I can rewrite that as multiplication. 3/4 becomes times. Remember, our 3 is always over 1. So 1/3. I have common factors I can cancel out of 3. 1 times 1 equals 1. 4 times 1 equals 4. So I get 1/4. And hey, look, I only had to do the math once because it's the same. So now I need to figure out how to get from here to here. Well, I'm going to take 1/4. I have to multiply by 4 to get to a whole. Remember, whole numbers, I always write over 1. So 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. This simplifies to 1/1, which equals 1. So in 1 mile, took her 1 hour. So now to get from 1 mile to 3 miles, I multiply by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Then 1, same problem here, is times 3 becomes 3. So this is times 4. So it takes Brian 3 hours. So far, our fastest has been Leslie. We've got Carolina at 1 3/4 of an hour. Leslie takes an hour. Brian takes 3 hours. He's going kind of slow. We're gonna do a double bar again. So we know that Javier takes 1 mile to go, or 2/3 of an hour to go 1 mile. So our next here, this is going to be 4/3. This is going to be 6/3. 4/3 I can't simplify. 6/3 I can. 3 becomes a 1. 6 becomes a 2. So this is going to be 2 hours to go, because this is where they join. 2 hours to go 3 miles. So who will win the race based on the rate shown? So Leslie. Leslie is. She is going to go the fastest. And how long will it take her to complete the race if her rate remains constant? We said it should take her 1 glorious hour. She goes pretty quick. I wouldn't want to be Brian. He's out there for 3 hours just constantly paddling. Kayaking's fun. It's not that fun.